Y'all want to start listening to black folk? Okay, when we told y'all Trey Reed's death wasn't a suicide, y'all didn't believe us. Second autopsy came back. Fractured skull, blunt force trauma to the back of the head, bruises on his back, bruises on his buttocks. We told y'all asses he got beat, he got hanged. That's exactly what it was. He got hung. Excuse me. When we told y'all vote for her, y'all didn't listen. Now here we are. When we told y'all, hey, we got to boycott a lot of these things, you're still not moving. Even though there's physical proof. Montgomery boycott, Tesla, Target, Disney, the shit works, but y'all don't want to fucking listen. What happened in Chicago, y'all want to sit there and blame black folk. Oh, see, black folk, we told y'all they was coming for you too. We told y'all was next. We were already on the table. You guys are just now getting on the same damn train. Welcome aboard. It's not really fun, is it? It fucking sucks. And here we are, where black people are telling y'all what we need to do, and you're still not listening. They want us in the streets. They did that Chicago thing to try to get us in the streets. We're not moving. We're not budging. But if y'all pick your ass up, stand up, and fight for something, and listen to what we are telling you to do, we cannot fight your battles. We don't have the savior complex. We have a nurturing and caring one, a forgiving one. But when it comes down to saving, no, we're not fun to save everybody. That's not what we're doing. We're not moving like that anymore. So I don't know, man. At some point, y'all gotta listen to us.
They ignored black people cries. They mocked our pain. They silenced our truth. But right now, the echoes of our ancestors are too loud to ignore. The world is finally listening to people they tried for centuries to silence: the black people, the children of the sun, the heartbeat of humanity. That's the video I'm going to talk about today. But before I go into the video, before I dive into today's message, let me take this opportunity and honor the life of a legacy, or the life and legacy of a true son of Africa, Raa Amo Oinga, a man who gave his entire life for justice, fighting for democracy and freedom. A man who was jailed, humiliated, attacked, and yet never gave up. He believed in a Kenya that was fair for all, and Africa that will rise again. He was a people, or a person, and he believed that people that would one day walk free from oppression. Raila Odinga wasn't perfect, and no great man ever is, but his courage stood as a symbol of resistance, a flame that will never die. So today, as we mourn his passing, we also celebrate the warrior spirit. He embodied a spirit that lives on in every African youth, every dreamer, every fighter for truth. Rest in power, Baba. Voice will never be silenced, and your fight continues among us. So today, let me go to this video today, that black people right now are being listened because of what is the awakening of silence. Because for a number of decades, for centuries, the world treated black people, or black voices, like whispers in the wind, okay? And heard only when convenient, erased when uncomfortable. So our stories were rewritten by those who colonized our land. Our inventions were stolen, our heroes were forgotten, our pain romanticized as if slavery was a chapter instead of a catastrophe. But today, the ground has settled, or the ground has shifted, from Nairobi to New York, Accra to Atlanta. Something divine is happening, okay? Black voices are no longer begging to be heard. Black voices are commanding attention right now. We are not asking for seats anymore at the table. We are building our own table. We are designing our own system and creating platforms where truth can finally breathe. That's the video I'm going to talk today. But before I go down to my commentary, let's watch these clips here, and then we'll come back with more commentary.
Black people are the cool. They
make things cool.
They're the culture drivers of America, without
Cultural
question.
filters,
In some ways, I guess that's maybe ancient Greece. What's democracy if not the original hip hop? How everything filtered out from that. Kind of, the same way.
Love it when you call me Big Son.
The same way music's been taking from black people forever. Mm-hmm. Everyone's kind of been taking our shit between philosophy and democracy.
This is what I was talking about when I said black Americans were the blueprint. Because in Latin America, we don't have things like that. I've never seen a lot of black actors in my entire life while I was living there. So yes, I'm gonna give their flowers all over again. And I'm sorry if I'm overhyped, but I'm very proud for all the work that you guys have done. So give it up again.
Let's talk about the truth. There is so much discourse lately about who is native and who is indigenous, and even the nerve to bring up who is the architect of soul food. And what everyone needs to understand is that Black people are the earth. Black people are the only unmutated humanity. They told you humans came from Africa like it was a migration story. But that's not the truth. The truth is, Africa is the first face of the earth. And blackness is the source of all biology. Everyone else? Genetic drift, mutational echo, survival glitches adapted to ice and exile. Let's talk origins. The black woman is the womb of the world. Forget the Eve in the garden story. That was a stolen metaphor. The real Eve lives in the woman's mitochondria. And not just any women. Melanin-rich, thick-hipped, thick-lipped, and copper-toned. Elegant, poised, literally perfect, planet-rooted black women. White women don't carry the full ancestral genome. Asian, Mexican, and Native women only carry fragments. Black women carry the total code. She doesn't reproduce diversity. She births the whole species. When small African offshoot groups migrated north, they weren't evolving. They were mutating, adapting to survival, not thriving. That's where lighter skin, narrow nostrils, reduced melanin, and behavioral changes began. All signs of environmental stress, not superiority. You don't get white by evolving. You get white by forgetting the sun. And that forgetting is not advancement, it's progression. The white genome contains 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Let me repeat, they didn't just descend from humans. They were cavemen. Black people have 0 Neanderthal admixture. That's not a joke. That's biology. Black people are the originals. Non-black people are the remix. The problem is, the remix decided to express its evil nature by attempting to erase the original track. Let's talk indigenous. The term indigenous was invented by settlers to decide who was native enough to be managed, named, and displaced. But indigenous is a political term, not a genetic one. And political terms can't overwrite blood memory. Being first on the continent does not make you first on the planet. However, black people being first on the planet means they are first on every continent. The black genome is Earth's source code. Everyone else is just running a copy of their biological operating system. The war against black genetics is a war against humanity. Melanin isn't pigment, it's the processor. It's the molecule that translates solar energy into life. Plants have it, animals have it, humans need it. Black people have the highest concentration of it, which means black people don't just live on Earth, they translate it. They are not just a race, they are the root species. Black isn't a color, it's the motherboard. Every other group, adaptations, mutations, and mistakes. This isn't supremacy. This is truth. Black people didn't come from Africa. Africa came from black people.
It's become very apparent that everybody is waiting for that I gotcha moment for black people, right? I've seen about 4 or 5 videos of Africans saying they hear that ICE is picking up blacks. We also have the Hispanics saying the same thing. Well, guess what? None of it is true. We're American. We can't be deported. We're not going anywhere. And if they try, guess what? We'll just fight like we always do. Other cultures and people are so obsessed with us that they can't wait till something happens to us, which is kind of sad if you think about it, right? Let me reiterate this, okay? Black people, Black Americans have been fighting since day one, okay? If you want to say 1619, go ahead. If you want to say 1592, go ahead, all right? Pick a date and let's start from there, because that's how long we've been fighting for our rights, fighting for this flag, fighting in every war you can think of. Yeah, we were there fighting for whatever we believed in at the time, all right? So this I gotcha stuff, you guys are just gonna have to keep waiting, because we're not going nowhere. We're gonna stay on the top. We're gonna continue to lead and be the best and be the example of what black people should be. Because if you look over there to Africa, pick one of the 54 countries, it's not really giving, all right? It's not really giving. But the Black American, on the other hand, we've given the world everything.
You know, something I've noticed is the red velvet, the ginger heads trend that is trending so much here on TikTok. Everyone would rather be black. Everyone would rather be black. That's what I've noticed. I saw this mother waking up her small daughter and telling her, guess what, baby girl? Now you're black. And the girl screams, yay, now I'm black. I saw another parent talk to the son and are telling the boy, now you're black. And the boy says, I knew it, I'm black. Everyone would rather be black. So the truth of the matter is, even the white people would rather be black. Everyone wants to be like us. You know what? We have a lot of love to give. Come on, let's all embrace the black community. We are the origin of humanity. We are the source of humanity. We embrace the red velvet, the ginger heads. We love you. Now you know that you're black. You're going to identify as black. Now, moving on. Black rocks.
Hi, this is just a reminder that Black people created country music. If you don't believe me, here are some of the sources about the history of country music, including one from Harvard. For instance, the banjo is a crucial instrument in country music, and it has its origins in West Africa. It's similar to a lute that was brought over by enslaved Black people during the transatlantic slave trade. What is now called hillbilly music actually has a very rich history in things like African folklore, field songs, spirituals, and the blues. We see a lot of white people trying to gatekeep country music, and yet they are neglecting the fact that the very reason the genre exists in the first place is because of this root that traces all the way back to enslaved Black people, to African music, and to a genre that was born of oppression in the United States. So when people complain about Beyonce not being country music, or when white people were mad about Lil Nas X, just know that like many things, this hatred is rooted in racism and cultural appropriation, because guess who was actually the founders of this genre? It wasn't white people.
Let's move on to these ICE raids in LA in our political corner. And this is where I need y'all's help, okay? Because this morning when I woke up, or this afternoon, this subject matter is still weighing heavily on my mind, spirit, and soul. My little thumbs, I can't help but tweet about it, post about it, speak about it, raise hell about it. And it's troubling me internally because I am having a hard time trying to reconcile that I know what the right thing to do is in this moment. And I know what I should be doing in this moment. I'm having a hard time reconciling doing what's right and meeting this group of people with an open, loving heart. I know that I'm not judge, juror, executioner, or God, but if I am being honest, there is a level of delight, and I don't know if delight is the right word. There is a level of pleasure. I'm just going to call a thing a thing. There is a level of pleasure that I am experiencing from them fucking around and finding out. There is a level of satisfaction that I am experiencing from the community being punished. And I know that saying this out loud makes me look and feel like a bad person. And I know I'm not a bad person. I know that I'm not. I know that I'm a very compassionate person. But I also just feel like this one needs to burn. It needs to burn. It needs to stick. It needs to hurt. Y'all, they need to feel it. They need to feel it down into their bone marrow in the deepest depths of their souls, so it's never to be repeated, so they are reminded, and so they understand. My concern is that, let's just say, for instance, we go all hands on deck and this ICE situation dries up today or tomorrow. In my heart of hearts, I really do feel like large parts of that community would simply revert back to their anti-Black ways. And I also recognize the fact, if I'm being perfectly honest here, and please, my Latino community, my Latino people that follow me, I'm a work in progress. I'm evolving. I'm processing this the same way that you guys are processing what.
Welcome back. Let's be honest here. The world ignored Black people not because we lacked brilliance. No. No. The world ignored Black people because our brilliance exposed lies. Okay? every empire that built its wealth, built on the backs of black people, needed our silence to survive, you know. They couldn't afford to admit that. But we had kingdoms long before they had parliaments. We built pyramids long before they were living in the cave. We understood medicine. We understood mathematics. We understood astronomy, you know. And we were doing trade. Africa and Asia, we were doing trade before their language even had words for them. So to admit that truth would have shattered their illusion of superiority, you know. So they wrote history books with a lot of lies. They painted Jesus white. They called our gods pagan, and told us that our melanin was a curse, when in reality, it was our crown. But the age of deception is ending. Today, the gatekeepers have lost control. No colonial movement or no colonial newsroom can silence a TikTok video just from a young African woman, you know, just a young African woman or man speaking the truth about history. They cannot silence that. No biased media outlet can twist a story, you know, when millions of people are filming the same truth from their own phones. Technology right now has given power back to the people. It has given the voiceless a megaphone. The world is now seeing raw reality, unedited, censored, and unapologetic. When a black man is murdered unjustly, the world sees it in real time. When African youth rise up against corruption, the world witness it instantly. When diaspora unite across ocean, when they set their foot in African soil, in Kenyan soil or Ghanaian soil, the world sees at first hand. The movement is spreading globally. And this is why they are afraid, because for the first time, we don't need permission to be heard. Okay? Now, this awakening is not just political or cultural. It is spiritual. We are living in a prophetic season where the children of Africa are remembering who they are. The curse they told black people that we had was never ours. It was their projection, you know. It was their fear of our light. And the Bible said, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And just look around, the shift is happening. The same people who were enslaved are now leading in art, sports, science, technology, and culture. You know, the same skin they despised is now the symbol of strength, beauty, and divinity. The word mocked our rhythm. But you know, right now they are using it. They dance to it, you know. When they stole our style, right now they market it, you know. Right now they are quoting our wisdom. That's not coincidence. That is divine reversal. And God is revealing what the world tried to hide. Now, black people are uniting like we have never seen this before. African Americans right now are connecting with Africans. Caribbeans are linking up with the brothers and sisters in the motherland, you know. Afro-Latinos are discovering the depth of their roots. And together, we are forming something unstoppable, okay? For years, they divided us. For years, they separated us through borders, through religion, through language. They told us that you are African American, you are Caribbean, you are Afro-Latino, you are Kenyan, you are Haitian, you are Nigerian, you are Dominican, that you are not the same. That was a division. They created it. The truth is, we are one people. The truth is, we are one people, scattered but not destroyed. The drum beat that played in Mali is the same drum beat, the same rhythm that moved enslaved in Mississippi. The spirit that guided in Kwame Nkrumah is the same spirit that guided and inspired Malcolm X. The courage that lifted Mandela is the same that rises in every young African protester today. This is the prophecy of unity. Is unfolding itself. It's unfolding before our eyes. The world tried to erase us, but every attempt became a resurrection. They tried so hard to bury us in chains, but we rose in freedom songs. They tried to erase our names, but we created new names that shook the world. They tried to destroy our families, but you know how we do it. We build every nation. We build nations in every corner of the earth. Even when they took our drums, our feet became the drum beat. And when they stole our land, our spirit turned the soil into sacred ground. Right now, the world is realizing something that is terrifying, that they cannot win against a people whose souls cannot die. They cannot do without us again, you know. Now, Black culture is very powerful. We have the power of black culture. And when you look at the culture today, from music to movies, from fashion to social influence, the culture today, from music to movies, fashion to social influence, the global stage right now is drenched in a black creativity. For example, when Beyonce sings, the world listens, okay? Listen to Burna Boy performance, Kendrick Lamar. It was Michael Jackson back. A Kenyan TikToker anywhere drops a truth. It trends in New York, So black creativity is not entertainment. It is influence. It shapes thought. It shifts behaviors. It redefines what the world call cool, And every beat, every lyric, every painting that comes from black people carries ancestral frequency, okay? Carries the sound of survival, carries resilience and rebirth. And that's why they watch us so much closely. That's why they watch us closely. Because even in joy, we are teaching the world that what freedom looks like, okay? Now, here's the irony. After centuries of exploitation, the very people the world once enslaved are now teaching it about to be human again, are teaching the world to be human again. When black people speak for equality, we speak with experience, not with theory, okay? My white brothers and sisters cannot speak equality. They can't. Because they have never tested the other side, okay? They cannot speak about endurance, resilience, and suffering because they have never tested that, okay? When we talk of justice as black people, we are not quoting books. We are quoting scars. We are showing this is the scars of injustices. When we talk of love, we mean forgiveness that the world still can't understand. Black people are so much forgiving. After being colonized, we still welcome everyone. Though we still have the scars, but we still forgive. We are the moral compass of humanity, the mirror of showing the world how cool is, showing the world its soul. And that's why the world is now listening, because it knows very well without black truth, humanity loses the conscience. Kiva, mwambie ako busy. But the awakening must go beyond trending and hashtags, because our power is not just in the protest. Our power, it is in the policy, economic, and unity. We need to consider those things. Our economy must be top. We need to be united because our unity is the guns we hold. And we must check on our policies, We must own what we create. When we create something, we must own it. We must own the licenses to our music, to our fashion and everything. We must invest in each other, black and black business. We must teach our children who they truly are. We must do that because we are being fed by Western influence. So we need to remove it slowly by slowly. And that's why we are creating this kind of videos. We must protect our culture. Don't sell it. Don't sell it. Don't sell it. The next phase of black liberation is not just shouting truth, okay? It is building systems of truth. And that means African fintechs, black-owned media, education platforms, land cooperatives and banks, When we control the resources, when we control the economy, we will control the narrative. That's what I know. We will control the narrative. And when we control the narrative, we control destiny, okay? We are not the beginning of the story, but we are the continuation. As black people, because our ancestors spoke first. They spoke first. From someone like Harriet Tubman to someone like Dedan Kimathi, Marcus Garvey, Wangari Maathai, Malcolm X, Thomas Sankara, Raila Odinga. These were not just leaders. They were prophets of liberation. They spoke when the world refused to hear. They planted seeds in stony grounds. And right now those seeds are breaking through the soil. We are seeing changes. Every time a young black person speaks truth to power, an ancestor smiles. Every time we unite, another chain breaks, Brothers and sisters, we are in the time our ancestors prayed for. And this is not coincidence, it's alignment, okay? We are in the season of spiritual justice, where hidden truths are being revealed and false powers are crumbling. And that's why you see system collapsing, currencies shaking, and old empires trembling. Because truth always finds its way home. The world is now listening to black people. But the question I may ask is, what will we say? The world is listening. What are we going to say next? And that's why the silence of black people is a threat. When we go silent, they don't know what we are planning. And we have to fear if someone goes silent because you know you have wronged him, you know you have every reason, he has every reason to get mad, but he has gone silent. He's not protesting, he's not shouting, just listening, watching, smiling. You have to ask a question. To the world that ignored us for centuries, welcome, but you are late, okay? You are late, but we will teach you. We will teach you about love that survived ships. We will teach you about hope that survived slavery. We will teach you about unity that crossed oceans. We will teach you about unity that crossed oceans. We will teach you about God, not the one you used to enslave us, but the one who liberated us from your chains. We will teach you about humanity, because through all your violence, never lost ours. We never lost ours. Now, my message to black people, my brothers and sisters, this is our time to shine, okay? Don't shrink your lie to make others comfortable. Don't wait for permission to speak truth. Don't measure your worth by their approval. You are descendants of kings and queens, scientists and philosophers, builders and dreamers, okay? The world is finally listening. So speak out, speak with power, walk with pride. Let our existence, or let your existence be a sermon. When you are a black American, you are coming to Kenya. Announce it. Let them see that you are coming, you are uniting to the motherland. Let them see that you have tapped your feet on the motherland, okay? That's the message I have for you today. The world is listening to us. Let's give them what they want to listen. And that is power. As I close, let me return to where I began. Raa Amo Oinga, a man who fought his whole life so people's voice could be heard. His passing is not the end. It's a reminder that our generation must continue the work. We must fight for justice in every form, not just in politics alone. In political justice, no, but spiritual justice, economic justice, and mental freedom. Because a free Africa means nothing if Africans still think like colonized minds, and a loud black voice means nothing if we are still echoing our oppressors' ideas. So let's speak new words, let's write new history, and let's mark the ancestors proud. Or let's make the ancestors proud. I'm sorry for that. Tell me what you think on the comment section about this video. Until next episode, peace out.